Good evening, Neha. How are you? I'm also good, Neha. So let us wait for the others also to join and then I'll be starting. So which chapter you wanted to revise, Shriyansha, Neha?
Body movement. I guess it's done on. Ma'am, is body movement done, ma'am?
No, we did not do that.
Then body movement.
Okay, just give me a minute. So is my screen visible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the body movement chapter, basically, when we talk about this chapter, we will be discussing about the body. So how we are able to move the body, and not only we, how the other animals also able to move from one place to other place. When we talk about the two words, movement and locomotion, in the case of the movement, we mean like when we are sitting, we can just move a part of our body. So, like if I'm writing, so I'm moving my fingers. If I'm saying something, I'm moving my tongue. So that is not the movement of any body part. It can be by sitting on the place. By sitting on the place, you can do that. Whereas when we talk about not location, locomotion, it basically means when we are moving from one place to other place with ourselves when we do the locomotion process. So in the case of the movement, we can be still and we can do the movement, whereas in the locomotion we have to move from one place to the other place. For example, when you're going to the school from your home, that is what the locomotion, that is not the movement, that is locomotion, because you are taking your whole body from your home to the school. Same way, when you're coming back to your home, you are bringing your whole body back to the home. But in the case of the movement, it is not important that your whole body needs to be moved. So that is what the difference between the locomotion and the movement. So generally we feel like it is same, but it is not same in reality. So these all topics will be covered in this chapter, starting with the introduction to the act of moving any body part. So movement is one of the characteristics of all the living organisms. Now, if I talk about Neha, Shriyansh, so by seeing your movement, I can feel like you are alive, right? So I can say, yeah, Shriyansh is moving his finger, so it means he's alive, right? By seeing maybe any bird also, any animal also, if that bird or animal is moving, we can say that bird or animal is alive. So likewise, there are different kind of the characteristics by seeing whom we can say that they are alive. Some of them are respiration, growth, then nutrition process, then excretion process. So by If this process is happening in our body, then we can say that we are alive, right? So me, I am also what I'm doing. I'm respiring. I am growing. I am taking the food and I'm digesting it. That is what the nutrition is. Then I'm removing the waste material also out of the body. Then at the same time, I'm showing the movement also, right? So these all things I am showing. Same way for Neha, also same way for Shreyansh. So I was showing these all kind of the characteristics. So that is why we say ourselves in our body. Can we say them as alive? No, we cannot say them as alive. Am I clear, Shreyansh and Neha?
Yes, ma'am.
I think I was logged out. I was network problem I had. Okay, let it be. I'll share the screen again. So that is what the difference between the movement and the locomotion, and also not only the movement, but other characteristics as like the respiration, breathing, nutrition, digestion. They also help us to identify whether we are alive or not. Am I clear, Shriyansh, Adya, and Neha? So
Yes,
these
yes,
all
ma'am.
characteristics are important for saying something to be alive. So this thing you will be learning in the grade 10, like what are the characteristics. Now, what happened? You might have seen in your classroom or sometimes teacher, like if someone is talking, your teacher will immediately throw the chalk on that person, right? And the person whom they will be throwing the chalk, that person will not be seated there, right? What they will do? They will just move away by seeing the movement of the chalk, correct? So that is what is actually the movement, or we can say the person is alive because he is able to see and identify the chalk. Then a tiger entering into the room. While the tiger enter into the room, you will not be seated there, right? You will be running. So that is also makes you to to be alive. So animals move either by changing their position or posture or both. So either we can move the body, we can just change the position, or we can do both the things. Movement causing a change of place of the entire organism is called as locomotion. So in the locomotion process, what happened? We will be taking a whole body, or we'll be changing the position of a whole body from one place to the other place. We will be taking it, and the organ which we use for that process is called as the locomotory organ. So it like in us, the locomotory organ is the are the legs, right? So with the help of the legs only we are able to move. So such kind of the organs which help in the locomotion, they are called as locomotory organ. Plants do not show locomotion, but they have only growth related movement. So you might have seen the plants will not be moving from one place to another place. The only thing is what you can notice is that they are growing. So earlier they might be small, then their height increased, then to the further level it got increased. So in them the movement will be there, but the locomotion will not be there. The leaves can move. They can move in the forward direction. They can move in the backward direction. But can the leaf move from one place to other place? No, right? So the plants they can show the plants they can show the movement but not the locomotion. Movement of body parts help in locomotion. All locomotion are movement, but all movement may not be locomotion. So since in during the locomotion process we are taking whole body to the other place, that is why we say that all locomotion are the movement, but all movements are not the locomotion. Because in any movement, if I am doing, I am not taking my whole body to that place, right? If I'm writing now on the board, I'm not carrying my whole body to write, right? So only my finger are moving. So that is why we say that in the case of locomotion, all are movement, but in the movement, all are not locomotion. For locomotion of animal, muscle, bones, and joints are necessary. So if any person want to have the locomotion, they should have these three things in their body. They should have the muscle, they should have the bones, they should have the joints. So we have all these three. We do have the muscles, we do have the joints, we do have the bones. And because of these three only, we are able to locomote. Animal locomotion varies according to their body design and the body part involved in movement and for locomotion. Example, cow walks with the leg. Humans also walk with the legs. But snakes slither with their whole body. You might have seen, right? The snakes will be making the loop like this and then they will be moving. So that is what we call them as a slithering. So they slither, snakes slither with the whole body. Then birds, they will be flying with the help of the wings. So different kind of the organism will be showing different kind of the movement or different kind of the locomotory organs they will be having. Human body and its movement. So human body parts like hands, legs, neck, head, elbow, shoulders, knees move differently due to different activities like playing, doing exercise, etc. Now, if I ask Shriyansh, that Shriyansh has to dance. Now, he might be moving the hand, he might be moving the legs for it, right? Now, if I ask Neha that Neha, you have to write something. Okay, a letter she has to write. Now, what happens? She will be just moving the hand, not the legs. Now, to Adya, I am saying, Adya, you need to sit simply. In that case, there will not be movement, right? So, depending upon your activity, whatever you wanted to do that, the different kinds of the parts will be showing the movement. So different movements include complete rotation, partial rotation, bending, lifting. So complete rotation, like when anything you are rotating it completely. Partial means not completely, but yes, half the way you can rotate it. Bending means like finger you can bend it downwards, you can bend it little upwards also. Then bending of the backbone, you will be doing it. Lifting, you are holding down some of any of the objects and all. That is what the lifting is. For example, during bowling, our shoulders rotate completely. Elbow bends in one direction, neck rotate partially. So neck does not rotate 360-degree angle. So partially it will be rotating left to right and up to down. This bending or rotation of body parts is possible due to the joint. So this is possible because in our body, what do we have? The joints. Now, if we do not have the joints in our body, then in that case, we will not be able to do any kind of the movements. Neither then we will not be able to bend any body parts. So that is why the joints are very important for the bending process, for the movement, and all these things. Now, joints and their types. Place where two parts of our body seem to join together, they are called as joints. The place where the two parts of our body seems to join. Like for example, this is the finger. Now, finger is being attached to what? The palm. The palm will be there, right? So we have the palm. So with the help of the palm, the fingers will be attached like this. So here we will have the joint. Here we will have the joint. Here we will have the joint. And because of that reason only, we are able to hold the pencil. We are able to hold the pen, right? So joints are very important if we wanted to hold something, if we wanted to bend something, it is important to have the joints. So different three types of the joints are there: fixed joint, cartilaginous joint, and the synovial joint. Fixed joint are also called as fibrous joint, and in this fixed joint, as the name says, it does not allow any kind of movement. So such kind of the joints will not show this kind of the mm, this kind of the joint found in the cranium. Cranium means the skull. Okay, so they are found in the cranium. Children, till where you heard me?
Ma'am, till the uh, that left skull and upper jaw, ma'am.
Okay, okay, then fine. So if I ask you that you have to move your upper jaw away from your head, can you do that? Can you move away from your head? No, right? That will be on the upper side only, and you cannot move that. Whereas in the lower jaw, if I ask you that you have to take that down, right, you will be able to do that. So that is why the cranium part, which is basically the skull part, and the upper jaw, they are the fixed joint where they do not show any kind of the movement. Then second one, cartilaginous joint, they are basically the limited movements are allowed in them. So they cannot move completely, but partial movements they are allowed in them. Bones are joined by cartilages found in the vertebral column. Vertebral column means backbone. Okay, so these kind of the joints are basically present in the backbone, which allows us some movement. Now, completely you cannot bend your body, right? But partially you can do it. That is because of the presence of the cartilaginous joint in them. The last type of joint is synovial joint, where the movement is allowed. And in them, what is there? Fluid will be filled between the cavity, between the two bones. So some fluid will be filled in between the two bones, between the two bones. Because of this fluid only, the movement are there. And there are certain proteins also present in called as contain. So what do they have? They have the presence of a protein called as contractile protein, and because of this contractile protein only, the movement will be there. So this you'll be learning in the grade 9 also. So name the protein which is present in the bones, which helps in the movement. So the answer is contractile protein. So in the bone, since this contractile protein is present, the movements are there. So fluid fills synovial cavity between two bones found in the limbs like knee, elbow, shoulder, etc. Example, ball and socket joint, pivotal joint, and the hinge joint. Now, before starting this, I'll just show you a video related to this.
When you're having cold,
Yeah, I have actually. That is why I'm not able to speak much also. Okay, yeah. So this, I think this one, this I'll show you first. And there's a song also related to the body movement. I think I might have showed you a song related to the body movement. Did I show you that? Related to the skeletal system, there will be a song.
I'm not sure I was not there at that time.
Uh, Wait, I'll show you that first then. Mhm. Yes, no, this one, I guess. So two zones basically we have in the body. The upper one is called as the axial and the down one is called as the appendicular. So axial include our head part and the center part of the body, which have the lungs, kidney, all those things. And whereas the appendicular includes the limbs part, the hip, the legs, and the arm part. So two zones we have, axial and the appendicular.
You cannot see the screen now.
Okay, cannot see the screen. Just a minute, let me share it again. Now is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
The skeleton has 206 bones in an adult. Babies have 270, which fuse for this result. The skeleton is divided into two main zones, which are called the axial and appendicular bones. The axial skeleton is topped by the skull. Your brain is in the cranium, which acts as a whole. The mandibular
So
jawbone.
basically in the skull also we'll have the two part, the upper part and the lower part. The upper part has the skull, which is called as the cranium, and the lower part has the jaw, which is called as the mandible.
Is able to expand, which is useful for talking, as you can understand. The ossicles are small bones found inside
So
your
inside
ear.
the ear we have the small bones, which is called as the ossicles, and inside the ears we also have the other bone, which is the smallest bone, called as the stapes.
The malleus incus stapes, which all help you hear. Sound waves are amplified by these three bones, and then move to the cochlea, which discerns
So
the
this is
tone.
what happened when the sound enters into our ear. It will be reaching to the malleus. From the malleus, it goes to the next bone, which is called as the incus, and then it reaches to the smallest bone of the ear, called as the stapes. and then they will be giving all those vibration to the next part, which is called as the cochlea, and cochlea will be transferring that vibration into the sound.
The rib cage helps to protect the lungs and the heart, with 12 ribs on each side, the sternum in the front.
So when we talk about the rib cage, the sides will have basically the bones, which are 12 in number, 12 pairs actually. And out of these 12 pairs, 10 are the normal one, and the two are called as the floating ribs because they are not attached to the center part of the rib cage. That is why they are called as floating ribs. Whereas in the front part of the rib cage, we have the sternum to hold it, to make it join together. Whereas at the back side, we will have the vertebral column made so this is what the vertebral column and also called as a backbone.
But vertebrae are stacked up very.
See, there's a difference between vertebral column and vertebrae. When we talk about vertebral column, it means a complete backbone. Okay, one complete backbone is called as the vertebral column. But when we talk about vertebrae, it means small bones of the vertebral column. Are you getting it, Shreyansh, Neha, and Adya? So a complete bone is called as the vertebral column, which is the backbone. And in the backbone, there will be so many smaller bones. They are called as the vertebrae. Clear?
Okay.
And when these vertebrae, when these small bones, they join together, they make the vertebral column or they make the backbone.
Neatly in a vertical array, the cervical vertebrae.
See, like this, we have the different kinds of the bones or different kinds of the vertebrae. Vertebrae means the small bones. So like this, we have the vertebrae in our backbone. So you can see cervical. So that is why you might have heard, like, some of the people, they will be getting the cervical pain. Have you heard that?
Yes, sir.
So cervical pain, generally in the neck region, they will be getting it because neck region is connected. The cervical bones are connected to the brain region. That is why they will have the severe kind of the pain in the neck as well as in the head region. So the name of the vertebrae there is the cervical, and they are 7 in numbers. Then the next,
cervical a lot can contract the muscle and we can get spondylitis.
Correct. So that is the reason we'll be getting the pain. Then next one are the thoracic bones, which are 12 in number. Then next, lumbar bones, which are 5 in number. Then the next one, sacrum, which are 5, and fused. Fused means that they are joined together, as you can see in the picture also. That, see here, here on the your maybe your left hand side or your right hand side, you can see the bone, the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bones, they are attached to each other on one side of it. That is why we say them as fused. And the last one is called as the coccyx, which is also called as the tailbone. Okay, so you can see this looks like actually a tail. That is why it is called as the tailbone. So it starts with the cervical and end with the coccyx, which is the tailbone.
Make up your neck, the spinal cord keeps your reflexes on deck. The ribs are supported by thoracic vertebrae.
Now we have the rib cage, and that rib cage is basically protected by this thoracic kind of the bone.
Lumbar ones are at the end of the spinal cord pathway. 5 sacral vertebrae are fused to form your sacrum, which holds your upper body and is found in your bum. Below it is the coccyx, or the tailbone. In humans, the coccyx has not really grown.
So in us, in humans, we do not require them actually. The coccyx bone, the tailbone, we do not require much. That is the reason they are not grown in our human body.
Articular skeleton, 120.
So that was about the axial skeleton, where we include about the cranium, mandible, about the jaws, then about the rib cage, thoracic, lumbar, all those things. Now, coming to the appendicular, there will be 126
bones in shoulders, arms, and legs, as we have here shown. Your scapula, also known as your shoulder blade, next to the clavicle or collarbone is laid.
So scapula is called as a shoulder blade, whereas the clavicle is called as a collar.
You have 3 arm bones, 1 above and 2 below. Here they come together to meet at the elbow. The bones of the forearm are the ulna and the radius, the humerus in the upper arm. So don't.
So three major bones are there when we talk about the arms, the upper arm and the lower arm. So basically we will be saying we have the two arms. The first one, the upper one is the upper arm, and the lower to the upper arm will be the lower arm. In the upper arm, yeah, tell me.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Ma'am, after I heard somewhere, ma'am, after like some years, ma'am, human will like not have tailbone.
Yeah, because see what happened, I'll tell you. Like, you might be, I think we might have discussed also, uh, any body parts, whatever you use them, will actually grow certainly. And the part we do not use it, they will not be growing. For example, like in your eyes, you might have seen there will be actually in the corner side of our eyes, there will be small, wait, let me show my photo first of all. Here, here, see, here at this region, there will be a small kind of, the muscle will be there. I think you might have noticed it, right? So there will be very small kind of the muscle present in our eyes. So what happened? That is not needed at all. Okay, and such kind of the organ which is not needed in our body, but it is present, or we cannot do anything. But slowly and gradually, what is happening now in the newborn babies or in the upcoming years also, this kind of the muscle will not be at all there because we do not need it, we are not using them now. Once we do not use anything, what happens? It will start going extinct. It means it will go away automatically. Then you might have heard about the appendix also. Have you heard the word appendix, Neha, Adya, and Shriyansh? Right, in the case, do you know where the appendix occur actually? No, Neha, have you ever heard? Shriyansh has not. Adya, no, Neha and Adya.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll tell you what happened. Appendix, you might have heard that word, right? But generally, in our large intestine, what happened automatically? The large intestine starts growing actually. So when the large intestine starts growing, they will be making a small kind of the muscle, and that muscle will start stretching. Now, why it has to stretch? Because the number of cells are dividing. Now, when the number of cells are dividing, the they will be requiring the more space, right? And in our body, the space is not so much that they can give the space to the larger, kind of the intestine. So that is why when any person has appendix, what happened? The growth of the large intestine will be there, and that unnecessary growth, which is not required because already we have the fully grown large intestine. Now, unnecessary extra muscle is occurring on that large intestine. Because of that, what happened? Ultimately, a pain will be there. So that is the reason. Just a minute. So So, then that unnecessary part of the small intestine, they will be occupying the space in our body and starts creating lot of pain actually. And that is why the person who has appendix, they have no other option, but they have to get it operated. Surgically, it has to be cut down and it has to be removed. Because if you do not remove it, what happens? The number of cells will keep on dividing and they will be accumulating more space in your body and starts becoming, problem. Then problem will be there, the pain will be there, severe pain will be there. You cannot control that pain. Such kind of the organs which are not required, but yes, present in our body, certainly after few years and all, they have to go extinct. And they are called as the vestigial organ. Okay, they are called as the vestigial organ. Those are not required, but yes, they are there in our body. Like one of the example I gave, I told you, like, small muscle in our eyes we have. Then appendix, some of the person they are getting. So that is also the extra part which is there in some of the person. Not everybody, but yes, some of them will have it. Okay, let me play the video back now again. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Don't you forget
So I was
this.
discussing this. So two arms will be there, the upper arm and the lower arm. Now upper arm has only one bone, which is called as the humerus, okay, and the lower arm has two long bones, which are called as the ulna and the radius. Total in the upper arm and the lower arm, three bones will be there.
You have 54 bones in
So
one
in
hand
one
and one
hand or in
wrist.
one wrist, in total there will be 54 small bones and the large bones also. You can see the picture. So when we talk about the fingers, they will be little small, they will be little bigger, and when we talk about the wrist, there will be small kind of the bones which are fused together.
Of
So like
carpals,
this, see
metacarpals.
the wrist part hand side will have the carpals. So many carpals bones, they are joined together, and then above the carpals we have the metacarpal bones.
Phalanges,
And
these
the fingers, what
consist.
do we have? They are basically the phalanges bone. So you have seen, right? In your hands, there will be a division. So you are able to bend them. So they are what? They are the phalanges. So three phalanges in one hand. So which gives you the total of the how many? For the four, there will be the how many? 4 into 3, 12. Plus in the thumb, we will have the two. In the thumb, we will have the two, which is basically the 14. Okay. So total 14 phalanges in one hand. 14 plus 14 in the other hand, this gives you the 28.
The proximal, intermediate, and distal
So
phalanges.
these are the three different types of the phalanges. We have the light green, you can see they are called as the proximal phalanges. Then the center one, which is the darker green, this is called as the intermediate phalanges. And the last one, which is blue in color, they are called as the distal phalanges. So they are nothing but they are basically the type of the bones which we have in our hand and the wrist.
Make up your fingers, which you can move with ease. Remember that your hands are where you find the carpals, and the feet are where you will find all your tarsals.
So
The hip.
in the feet also, in the hand we have the carpals and metacarpals, whereas for the feet the the name gets changed into the tarsal and metatarsal. Both are same. Carpal and metacarpal are for the hands, and tarsal and metatarsal are for the feet. So generally in the exams and all, entrance exams and all, they ask you tarsal is related to the hand or feet. So what happened? We get confused. So tarsal is for the hand or for the feet. So keep in mind in the feet, T comes, right? So that is for tarsal. So carpals and metacarpals are for the hand, whereas the tarsal and metatarsal are for the legs or the feet.
Bone can be divided into three: the ilium, ischium, and pubis, as you can see.
So when we talk about the thigh region, there also will have the three different types of the bones, which are the ilium, ischium, and the pubis.
The bones in your leg, well, there are four. The patella is your kneecap.
Patella is basically the most important part when we talk about the legs, right? So in the legs also we will have the two kinds of the arms we'll have, two kinds of the division we'll have, and in between there will be the patella, which we call them as a kneecap. So generally what happens when you go for playing and all, or if you like to play football or cricket and all, generally the kneecap, you will be using the word kneecap, right? So kneecap, we will be wearing it while playing. So that is also called as that bone is called as the patella.
And then there are three more. The tibia and fibula are found below the knee.
So this patella will be the center one, which is also called as the kneecap, and below that there will be the fibula and the tibia. Just a minute.
And the femurs found
So
above
femur
it,
is the upper
as
one,
we
which
can.
is like basically our thigh part one, and the patella and fibula will be the down one. And in the hand, humor is the upper one, and the tibia and the radius one. Radius and ulna is the lower one.
All agree there are 52 bones in your ankles and your feet. Once you know the hand bones, these will be a treat. There are the tarsals,
So
metatarsals.
we are using the word carpals, metacarpals, phalanges. Here, the words change into the tarsal, metatarsal, and phalanges.
And phalanges, remember that they are proximal, intermediate, and distal.
So here in them also there are three different types: proximal, intermediate, and the distal. Same as like the phalanges of the hand, there are the phalanges for the legs.
If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe.
So am I clear, children? Are there Neha and Shreyansh? Yes, Adya, Neha, and Shreyansh, am I clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's about, like, and so this video was very good video. It has lot of information regarding to your bones and different types, different zones. Axial and appendicular, they are also very important, because when we talk about the upper part, or when we talk about the hands and legs, there should be the differences between both of them. Then in the next class, which will be tomorrow, we will be discussing about the ball and socket joint, the hinge joint, pivot joint. Then the skeletal system, why it is important to have the skeletal system. Then the bones, what are the different types of the bones we have in our like shoulder bone, we have clavicle, scapula, humerus, radius, ulna, carpal. So you can see in this picture very clearly they have mentioned it here. Oh, so clavicle is basically the collarbone. Scapula is basically the shoulder bone. Humerus is your upper arm. Ulna and radius are your lower arm. The carpal is basically in the wrist. What do we have? And metacarpal is the palm part, and then phalanges we have the fingers and all. Fine. So all these, how many numbers we have, we will be discussing in tomorrow's class. All right.
Bone, right?
And Neha, when do you have your final exams?
Ma'am,
Tell me, Shant, what you're saying.
ma'am, my exams start.
Yeah, tell me.
My exams start from 27th of February. Ma'am, 27th.
20? 27. And Shriyansh, for you from first, right? Adya, for you, when it is going to get started?
First exam is science. Ma'am,
Okay.
27th, ma'am.
27th of February.
Yes, ma'am.
So Neha, you will be joining during your exam time? Neha and Adya?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, no idea, ma'am.
Okay, no idea. No worries, no worries. But if in case children, you do not join the class, just let me know, okay? That just message me that, ma'am, today I will not be joining, so that accordingly we can, fix the teacher also then and there. Okay. So if you are not joining the class any day, just inform me a day before, so that accordingly then we can uh, decide, and we can fix the teachers. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Now any doubt you?
That is the longest bone, right?
Yes, 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 yes. It is actually. It is.
I don't know. Any very thick bone is there in our body.
What, Shiransh?
Thickest bone in our body.
Thickest bone?
Yes.
No idea. It's not like about thickness, because thickness, actually, like, we cannot decide the bone thickness, because the reason I'll tell you, calcium in your body will be in the different amount. Calcium in my body will be the different amount, right? So depending upon person to person, the strength of that bone or thickness of the bone will be decided, right? That is why what happens, sometime a person fell down immediately, if he does not have a good strength, the bone will get breakdown, they will get the fracture. And if they have the thick kind of the bone, which is like, does not brittle, in that case they will not get anything, though they fell down from top also. So that is why it completely depend upon the calcium, how our body is accumulating
So many people are having big bones, ma'am, and I was having a doubt, ma'am, that how they have it.
it. That's what, like, everybody has a different bones, but yes, thickness depends upon your eating habit. Okay, so tomorrow we'll be meeting. Tomorrow you will have the science class. I'll be taking the class. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Thank you.